Good morning. It is Tuesday, October the 25th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Well, this morning, media workers in Barbados and the world are facing increased threats and attacks. And to this end, the first Vice President of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, Emmanuel Joseph, is calling on journalists to open their mouths and talk about these threats in order to try to save their lives. Mr. Joseph's encouragement comes on the heels of a senior television anchor from Pakistan being killed in suspicious circumstances, and also on the heels of a charge by the Public Media Alliance that there is a surge in online attacks on media professionals. Here's what he had to say.
This is an emerging threat, that is, digital threats against media. And so it is unfolding across the world. And I can tell you that it comes in covert and overt ways. So it is something that we have to keep our eyes on. It was unfortunate that the Pakistan journalist lost his life. And of course, this is just a drop in the bucket of various threats to the lives of journalists and media workers, and actual death to them, assaults and things of that nature. So, Mark, yes, this is an unfortunate situation, and we all as media people have to be very vigilant and look out for these things. So we have to be on the ball and be aware that when you touch one, you touch all. So even though some of these things may happen outside of Barbados, it is as though it happens to us all because we are in the same profession. And as the old people will say, what doesn't happen in a day, happen in a year, or vice versa.
Mr. Joseph, who is also the General Secretary of BARJAM, the Barbados Association of Journalists and Media Workers, says the strategies available to the media to keep ourselves safe are limited.
In Mexico, despite widespread protests by media workers, the killings continue. The killings continue. I don't know how much we can do to prevent someone from killing us, but what I can say, the most we can do is to stick together, be vigilant, and keep your eyes open, and also network, because information flows. And like the same Mark Besant from Trinidad, his information about the threat against him came from outside of Trinidad by a source, a high-level source called him and told him that. So we as media people have to link up with other media people from across the world, because information flows. And it is not like in the days of yore when you had to just depend on one particular media house, but media is like become one small village where there's now a big network of media people.
Now, the BARJAM General Secretary is traveling to Trinidad and Tobago this morning to attend a seminar on how to cover stories dealing with corruption, which he says is another source of danger to the health and well-being of journalists.
That is one of the things that journalists get killed for when they investigate corruption. And some of the instances I mentioned to you with respect to journalists who were threatened or were killed is because they were investigating high-level corruption. So we are looking at that issue. It is a 3-day seminar in Trinidad, and we will be exploring various issues with relation to corruption and how to go about covering these things, and some of the things that you need to look for, the signs and the nuances involved in corruption. And therefore, this will be a very instructive seminar.
Let's put this in perspective for you now. As we mentioned earlier, a prominent Pakistani investigative journalist, critical of the country's powerful military, has been killed in Kenya nearly 2 months after he left Pakistan. Arshad Sharif, the 49-year-old journalist, fled the country in August to avoid arrest after he was slapped with multiple charges, including sedition charges over an interview with Shahbaz Gill, a close aide of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan, during which Gill made comments deemed offensive to the military.
Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan was one of the first senior officials to visit the Islamabad home of investigative journalist Arshad Sharif, who was killed in Kenya on Sunday night. Many are praising Sharif as a man who dedicated his work to ending corruption and challenging the political elite. In an earlier tweet, Imran Khan wrote he is deeply shocked and that Sharif paid the ultimate price for speaking the truth. He says the entire nation is in mourning. Sharif is leaving behind 5 children and his wife Shavira Sadiq, who announced his death on social media, saying he'd been shot in Nairobi. She says she's lost a friend, husband and her favourite journalist. Sharif had previously worked as a presenter for the Pakistani channel Arai. It was well known to be highly critical of the government and military. He left Pakistan after saying he'd received death threats. There are reports an application has been filed with the High Court for an investigation into the circumstances surrounding why he left the country. In August, a police report showed Arai's owner and other staff members were arrested after the network aired comments by former Prime Minister Imran Khan's advisor. A state-run media regulator ordered Arai to temporarily go off air. It prompted the US to express concern about press freedom in Pakistan.
Other senior journalists who were tortured and they were forced to make certain confessions. I think this is a link with that episode. Arshad Sharif left Pakistan under compelling condition. He knew that he was a next target.
He was just like brother to me, and with an impeccable background of journalism, no one can point any finger at him. Truly professional.
As tributes pour in for Sharif, many are also worried about the future of independent journalism in Pakistan.
Catherine Sois in Nairobi with more on the shooting.
Police have released a statement about the death of Arshad Sharif. They say that what happened was a case of mistaken identity. They say that police officers were pursuing another vehicle after a man reported that his son had been abducted and his car stolen. Now it appears that Sharif and another person who was driving their vehicle were allegedly caught up in a crossfire at an area called Kajiado on the outskirts of Nairobi. Now 4 bullets were fired at his car. It's not clear how police mistook the number plates of these 2 cars, which were completely different. We are also being told that the person who had been abducted was later found. Now, a police oversight commission is investigating the circumstances under which this incident happened. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if we will get more detail on those police findings, because such cases are hardly made public. Now, we also know that we have seen several high-profile cases of extrajudicial killings in Kenya. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, coming up on the morning report, our daily updates on the war in Ukraine. We'll tell you which side is threatening to use a dirty bomb. Details to that story up next.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted,
giving you that update on what is happening with the war in Ukraine. Now, Western countries have accused Russia of plotting to use a threat of a dirty bomb laced with nuclear material as a pretext for escalation in Ukraine, as Moscow evacuated civilians from a southern city in anticipation of a major battle. With Ukrainian forces advancing into Russian-occupied Kherson province, top Russian officials phoned their Western counterparts over the last 2 days to tell them Moscow suspected Kyiv of planning to use this so-called dirty bomb.
Russia's been on the retreat on the battlefield, but on the offensive through diplomatic channels and in public, with more unsubstantiated accusations that Ukraine plans to detonate an explosive with radioactive material or a dirty bomb and blame Russia. In Moscow, the head of Russia's nuclear, biological and chemical defense expanded on the defense minister's claims of the previous day.
According to the information we possess, 2 Ukrainian institutions are commissioned to build a so-called dirty bomb. The works are in the final stages now. A detonation of such a device could be disguised as a spontaneous explosion of a Russian low-yield nuclear weapon.
It's a claim that's been roundly dismissed here in Kyiv and in Western capitals as transparently false. Ukraine's foreign minister has invited in inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency to refute it. The question being asked here is whether this is Russia trying to throw sand in the eyes of its enemies, or whether it really does intend to use some kind of nuclear device. What do you think Russia expects to gain from making just this threat, even if it doesn't go through with it?
I think Russia tries to demonstrate that it can continue this war permanently and to go to another levels of escalation. And maybe it's important for Russia to demonstrate this possibility.
While Russia presses its nuclear narrative, it continues to launch conventional weapons targeted increasingly at Ukraine's energy facilities. Among those weapons, Iranian-made drones. The Ukrainian president warning Israel on Monday that Iran might receive Russian nuclear technology in return, and renewing his calls for Israel to provide its Iron Dome missile defense.
If we had immediately secured our skies when faced with a missile drone threat, Russia would not even have a motive now to go to Iran and offer it something in return for assistance with terror.
In Berlin, more calls for help, this time for longer-term economic aid, ahead of Tuesday's international conference on rebuilding Ukraine. Reconstruction, though, requires an end to the war. Russia is instead warning of an uncontrolled escalation.
6:16, a time check for you. Let's go over to Tishia now to see what's happening on the Tuesday edition of Mornin Barbados. What are you looking at today, Tishia? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Shane. Always great to see you. Good to have you back. Missed you for a few days. But coming up on Morning Barbados today, usually it's on Monday, but today, conversations on CARICOM. We're talking about the crisis in Haiti. Also, we're going to tell you about a new campaign on by the Heart and Stroke Foundation, where we are looking into obesity with children in Barbados, as we continue to reinforce that 31.9% of Barbadian students between 13 and 15 years are overweight or obese. Also on today's program, we continue the discussion with the National Cultural Foundation on the intangible cultural heritage. One of the directors over there, Renee Taylor, who is the officer for theater arts, she will be in and sharing with us on that. Plus, Sharita Odell will be in to talk real estate today, what siblings can do when they're jointly responsible for property that is left. Plus, lots of fun. That's all coming up on today's edition of Morning Barbados.
A packed show there coming up in about 40 minutes' time. Thank you so much, Tisha. See you soon. Well, coming up here on the Morning Report, we will tell you the latest on this leaked police report, a complaint accusing a member of Parliament of a serious charge. Details to that story and a whole lot more coming up right here in a few moments.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together. Enjoy.
The leaked police report from a complainant who has accused the Member of Parliament Neil Rowe of rape was a major topic when Mr. Rowe appeared in court yesterday to face the charge. The complainant's statement has been circulating on social media, and while the Police Services Public Affairs and Communications Officer Acting Inspector Rodney Innes has declined comment at this stage, one attorney contends there ought to be an investigation. CBC's Sharika Griffith reports.
Shortly after 9:30, 43-year-old Rowe arrived in a police vehicle. He hid his face with a scarf as he was ushered into the courthouse by 3 police officers under the watchful eye of supporters and other onlookers. Mr. Rowe stood quietly in the dock as Magistrate Deirdre McKenna read the charge that on September 18th, he had sexual intercourse knowing that the complainant did not consent or was reckless as to whether she consented. He was not required to plead to the indictable offence. The MP is represented by King's Counsel Roger Ford and Attorney-at-Law Sophia Moore. Prosecutor Acting Inspector Peter Barrow did not object to bail, but asked for conditions to be imposed. The magistrate imposed 2 conditions: that Mr. Rowe stay away from the complainant and that he not message her via social media or otherwise. On the outside, his attorney, Mr. Ford, expressed concern the complainant's report to police was shared on social media. He also questioned the timing of the leak.
A report was made to the police on the 24th, I think, of September. And a few weeks or a few days prior to a particular event, which I do not want to name, there was much circulation. And the circulation of statements made by the complainant. Apparently they were copied from the police diary and placed on the internet. We all have seen them. What has happened, I'm very concerned that ladies now will have little or no confidence in the police force. That every report you make to the police, it will be on social media. Those who are responsible should be brought to justice.
Mr. Rowe is expected to return to court on January 30th. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
As government is favorably considering and actively considering a rate increase for taxi operators, there is a consensus by those working in the field that a 65% increase is needed to ensure operators can make ends meet. Crystal Hoyt reports.
It was last week that Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport, Works and Water Resources, Santia Bradshaw, raised the prospect of a fare hike for taxi operators. She said an application by operators for a fare increase is being favorably considered by the Cabinet of Barbados. There hasn't been an increase for players in the sector for over a decade, and those in the city believe it's long overdue. And they don't want just any increase. It must be substantial.
To make it feasible for a taxi driver that working at the airport, actually for the government tariff, it will have to be 65 to 75% increase on the tariff. if not, it isn't saying anything with the prices of gas in Barbados right now. It wouldn't be saying nothing.
The one at the airport, I don't know how anybody could live off of that, how you could support yourself, your family, or even to maintain a car on that. You can't. So, just waiting to see what will happen.
And while there is no debating the rates operators at the airport have to charge need to be increased, there is mixed reaction on asking locals to pay more.
Do you think that the locals can handle an increase, can bear the cost of an increase of taxi fare?
Everything gone up, so the taxman is the scapegoat. Yeah. No? A taxi man is the scapegoat now. No, it come to me if you can afford it. No, it come to taxi man. It's affording it now. But for everything else, to put the money up here, good effects, no, anything, put money up here, comfortable.
See the locals and this increase of fear, I tell you, it is problems. Because people can want to pay no more money. You can't charge them on, just charge them on $20, they come and charge you 30. You ain't gonna get it, you know what I mean? More people can catch your bus, so your bus can get up behind on me.
People will start catching taxi. The bus service in our ballot before.
Minister Bradshaw has said a standardized rate will be announced soon. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
In other news on the morning report, the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Nutritional Security, Indar Weir, says local investors will soon be able to look at the prospectus for the proposed food terminal and state-of-the-art abattoir.
The prospectus for the food terminal and the abattoir should be completed by the end of this month, and investors would have an opportunity to look at that prospectus to determine where their investment is going to go. I must say to you that at the level of CARICOM, we develop an investment dashboard, agri-investment dashboard, which provides an opportunity for investors to go on a portal, a live portal, where countries can upload their investment opportunities in agri-investment, and that portal would also upload the prospectus that we are developing, or the prospectuses, because it will be the food terminal and the abattoir. And of course, by the end of October, once we signed off on these prospectuses, then we have a wonderful opportunity to take private sector investment rather than have government get in this space to deliver this type of investment.
On the international scene, Rishi Sunak has secured the backing of Conservative Party MPs to become the United Kingdom's new Prime Minister, meaning that he is set to make history today when he formally becomes the first non-white person to hold the post.
The return of Rishi Sunak, this time as leader of his party. He missed out to Liz Truss in the last leadership contest, only to find himself, less than 2 months later, back in Downing Street, this time at number 10. Sunak is the first UK Prime Minister of South Asian heritage, indeed the first from any ethnic minority in modern times. A Hindu whose family came to Britain from East Africa, and while his rise in British politics marks a milestone moment, a reflection of the UK's diversity, it is his personal wealth and privilege and that of his wife's that has come under scrutiny, and the effect many believe that would have on the decisions he would make running the country.
There are so many challenges that he has to face. First of all, of course, he ran the economy that built up a lot of the debt that we're now talking about, and there were some episodes of discussion about his and his wife's tax affairs and the possession of a green card, which suggested, you know, I've got an ejector seat in case things don't work out in British politics, which a lot of people didn't like.
While Sunak's super wealthy wife's tax status played badly with voters, the parliamentary party regarded him as a safe option to guide the economy at a time of global uncertainty. Sunak's financial support packages to businesses hit by COVID lockdowns marked him out as leadership material within the party.
There we go. Thank you.
Putting him on a collision course with then Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
Okay.
But they continued to work together through the various scandals that preceded Johnson until his position became untenable. And Sunak publicly parted ways with Johnson.
Let's make him our next leader.
He threw his hat in the ring for leader of the party, campaigning on a pledge that he was the right person to manage the economy.
My message to the party and the country is simple. I have a plan
to steer our economy through these headwinds. We need a return to traditional conservative economic values, and that means honesty and responsibility, not fairy tales.
And was deeply critical of his predecessors' unfunded tax cuts that plunged the British economy into chaos and led to Liz Truss's resignation.
Thank you.
Now Sunak faces the challenge of his career, uniting his party, stabilising the government and fixing the economy in a country that has seen more than its fair share of political and economic drama in recent times.
Well, in sporting news now, the Windies men's head coach Phil Simmons will be stepping down following the team's early exit from the ICC Men's T20 World Cup being played in Australia. In a letter to Cricket West Indies, Simmons says his decision is not a knee-jerk reaction but a move he has been considering for some time. He'll be stepping down as West Indies head coach at the end of the Test series against Australia from the 30th of November to the 12th of December, which is earlier than he had hoped for. Now, Simmons says he will now focus his energies in Australia on continuing to build on the excellent progress the Test team has made. Simmons is also expected to still participate in the review of the Windies World Cup campaign. Well, the FIFA World Cup kicks off in Qatar in a few weeks, and CBC Sports will be airing a series of tidbits about football as we build up towards that major global sporting event, which will be aired on CBC TV8 from November 20th. To get the show on the road, our Sean Green reports on the entry of the first English-speaking Caribbean team to make the finals, the Reggae Boys of Jamaica, as he delved into our archive of FIFA facts.
Most Jamaicans will remember the excitement of November 16, 1997, when the Reggae Boys made history, becoming the first team from the English-speaking Caribbean to qualify for the FIFA World Cup.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Come on, you family, make some noise. Are you ready?
In the Community is on every Thursday in a community near you.
The community is well and alive.
Come on down and, have a line with all of me.
You can look out for more of those FIFA facts in our sporting news. Well, that's our sports for this morning. Let's look at weather. The temperature right now, 27 degrees Celsius. It's feeling a bit warmer though, feeling like 32 degrees Celsius, the apparent temperature. The relative humidity stands at 88%. It's partly cloudy on the outside. The barometric pressure is 1011 millibars, and the winds have really dropped off, coming out of the east at 13 kilometers per hour. We'll see a low tide this morning at 18 minutes after 9. There will be a high tide in the afternoon at 28 minutes after 3. The seas are smooth to moderate in open water, peaking at 2 meters and holding steady. Today it will be sunny with cloudy periods here in Barbados, with a few brief scattered light to moderate showers and a very slight chance of isolated thunderstorms. And tonight we'll have a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief scattered light to moderate showers. And here's a quick look at the forecast in some of our selected international cities. And that's my time for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. I'll see you at 7 with headline news. Up next is Tisha with Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Morning.
It's Tuesday, October 25th. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Barbados for today. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, you had your update of news before, and now we bring you a little bit of everything else. We have some fun planned for you today. We're also going to be talking health and wellness, a little bit of fitness and culture. So it's a wonderful mix of everything you need to set the tone for a great day today. So coming up, like we told you earlier, we will be speaking with the cultural officer for theatre arts, Renee Taylor of the National Cultural Foundation, and we are continuing our look at the intangible cultural heritage of Barbados and how the NCF is moving around the island and sharing all of that information with us. We'll let you know exactly why you need to hone in on what is happening and get in there and go out and do a little something in that area. Also coming your way today, we are talking real estate with Sharita Odell. Now we know usually when we have siblings who inherit a piece of property, there can be some trouble. She's going to help guide us on how you can best work to, jointly see what's happening with that property and make sure that you take care of your inheritance. Also coming up today, the Heart and Stroke Foundation will be in through Stacia Brown. She's the communications officer there at the foundation, and we're looking at childhood obesity prevention. They have a campaign coming up, and we will talk more about that. Some staggering statistics we have to share with you as well. And I think you will not be surprised, but you will, because usually we don't talk about numbers. So where we have some empirical data to share with you, I think it will make a drastic difference in terms of how you look at childhood obesity or children who are overweight. But before all of that, usually we have our conversations on CARICOM on Mondays, and we had to shift to today with His Excellency David Commichon, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, to have conversations on CARICOM today. Now, we are going to be focusing today on the crisis in Haiti, so let's go right ahead and welcome the Ambassador to Morning Barbados. Good morning.
Good morning, Tisha. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to have you with us again. And as I mentioned, we are going to be focusing today on the crisis in Haiti. Now, on the 17th of October, CARICOM spoke at the UN Security Council and delivered a statement on Haiti. The statement was delivered on behalf of CARICOM, and it was delivered by Belize's permanent representative to the United Nations Ambassador Carlos Fuller. So before we get into our discussion, I would like for us to take a listen to that particular statement.
CARICOM firmly condemns the incessant warfare and actions of the gangs that have essentially paralyzed the country. And we emphasize the critical need to strengthen the capacity of the Haitian National Police in a concerted effort to fully restore security and enable the rule of law to prevail. In this connection, heads of government of the Caribbean community have taken note of the appeal of Prime Minister Henry for the urgent assistance of Haiti's international partners for short-term assistance to address the security and humanitarian crises. CARICOM heads of government are therefore undertaking internal consultations to determine how best to respond to the call from Prime Minister Henry for assistance. Strengthening the state's security apparatus must also extend to and include measures to combat corruption, illicit financial flows, and illicit weapons flows. The amalgamation of these scourges is a direct threat to the people of Haiti and can have a dangerous destabilizing spillover effect on neighboring states in the region. CARICOM is deeply alarmed by the ongoing gang blockade of fuel that is prohibiting access to essential services such as healthcare, safe, reliable drinking water, and proper sanitation, which are basic human rights indispensable to sustaining lives and maintaining dignity. They are also critical to thwart the wider spread of cholera that has regrettably resurfaced in the country. This issue must be confronted immediately to prevent a repetition of the tremendous suffering experienced by Haitians in years gone by. Growing food insecurity is also of grave concern. Millions are facing acute hunger, and the situation is now exacerbated by global food prices and soaring inflation. Vulnerabilities are high as Haiti struggles with multiple crises at once. Mr. President, we consider it urgent for all national stakeholders to engage in meaningful and constructive political dialogue guided by a spirit of compromise. Personal and partisan interests must be set aside to bridge the existing political chasm, build confidence, and effectively facilitate the political process. The Haitian people cannot go it alone. They require meaningful support from various regional, hemispheric, and international partners to assist in implementing the way forward. CARICOM, of which Haiti is a valued member, has offered its instruments and tools and is well placed to provide support for the electoral process and a good office's role in dialogue with national stakeholders. We also cannot discount the potential role and contributions of CELAC, the Organization of American States, and the African Union in this regard. Above all, efforts made to tackle the seemingly insurmountable challenges faced by the Haitian people must be Haitian-led and Haitian-owned. As such, an inclusive inter-Haitian dialogue process with the full and equal participation of women and youth is critical and must be accompanied by a national reconciliation process. Mr. President, we reaffirm our solidarity with the Haitian people in addressing the underlying drivers of the country's instability and insecurity. Haiti's legacy of underdevelopment cannot be divorced from the historic injustices meted out against it through enslavement, colonialism, and imperialism. Accordingly, the noble cause of reparatory justice cannot be sidestepped any longer. Haiti fatigue is not a concept that must be allowed to take root in our collective consciousness. We cannot lose compassion in addressing the Haitian crisis. It is our solemn obligation to remain fully engaged on the situation in Haiti, to assist our brothers and sisters who yearn for and deserve a new beginning.
That was Belize's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Carlos Fuller, delivering that message. Ambassador Commichon, what is the expected outcome in delivering such a message at that level to that body?
Well, Tisha, first of all, viewers should be aware that the United Nations Security Council is actually the top decision-making body of the United Nations. Unlike, say, the General Assembly, when the UN Security Council makes a decision, it is binding, and all countries have to fall in line with that decision. So the UN Security Council had invited CARICOM, because at present we don't have a seat on the Security Council. So invited CARICOM to be part of that discussion on Haiti. Viewers should be aware that right now everybody suddenly seems to value the input of CARICOM where Haiti is concerned. It wasn't so in the past, but everyone now wants CARICOM's involvement. So last Friday, that said United Nations Security Council passed a resolution on Haiti imposing a sanctions regime against gang members and people associated with the gangs in Haiti. You would have heard from the CARICOM statement that a big part of the problem in Haiti is that these illegal gangs have gotten so strong that they now have Haiti in a stranglehold. In fact, that they have blocked supplies of fuel from getting out of the fuel terminus in Haiti. That has basically shut down the country. Shut down electricity stations. Schools are not functioning. Hospitals are not functioning. Businesses have shut down. So just last Friday, the UN came with this sanctions regime, travel bans, asset freezes, etc., etc. Well, I don't know to what extent that is really going to address the real crisis in Haiti. But there's another resolution that the UN Security Council is currently working on, and they believe that by the end of this week, they will be able to bring that resolution to a vote. And that is a resolution that looks at the requests of both the current acting Prime Minister of Haiti, Ariel Henry, and the Secretary General of the United Nations for the deployment in Haiti of some kind of specialized military force to assist the Haitian National Police to get the gangs under control, to unblock the fuel terminal, to get a level of security back in Haiti that things can start functioning again. So that is the big issue now that everybody is discussing. There's a call for, it is likely that a major country like perhaps Canada might take the leading role in this, but there has been a request that CARICOM be involved in some way. And so there's a lot of discussion going on now internationally, but also within CARICOM to determine to what extent CARICOM will respond to this, this request for the deployment in Haiti of some kind of specialized military force. So that is the key issue being addressed right now.
All right, so I was about to ask you, apart from the sanctions, what are some of the other options that are on the table? But you talked about intervention in that way. How probable is it, or can CARICOM intervene as an independent body, as independent countries? Can members of CARICOM get together and come up with a way that they want to help Haiti as well? Or must they wait on a directive from an agency like the United Nations Security Council?
Well, Haiti is a member of CARICOM. Haiti became a full member of CARICOM 20 years ago in 2002. So CARICOM has said to Haiti, and I've been at CARICOM now for just about 4 years, and for the entirety of that period, CARICOM has been saying to Haiti, look, we recognize you have a crisis. We want to come and play a role. At the heart of this crisis is a political problem. You have an administration in office in Haiti that has very little legitimacy. In fact, and perhaps you may say the vast majority of the Haitian people do not accept it as a legitimate administration. So you have a political standoff. And CARICOM has said, look, we would like to come, we would like to offer good offices to bring all of the contending political actors together, including the civil society actors, to negotiate and discuss a way forward for Haiti. Haiti needs new elections, but Haiti can only have new elections to put in place a truly legitimate government, truly chosen by the people of Haiti, if the security situation is brought under control so that people could feel free to go out and vote in elections. And plus, there are many Haitians that are not even registered, who should be registered as part of the voters' roll. So CARICOM has said, we can help you with that. We know a lot about elections. We can help you with the election process. We are also willing to come and provide a good officer's role to have that political negotiation so that you stop fighting each other. Everybody compromises and you actually agree on a way forward. Because what the gangs are doing, because of the political stalemate, it then opens up space for the gangs to act freely. And the gangs are virtually more and more, in a sense, taking over the country. So that is how CARICOM can help. CARICOM does not really have the military capacity to say that Haiti is a country of 11 million people. The rest of CARICOM is 7 million. CARICOM does not really have the military capacity to say that we are going into Haiti to deal with the Haitian gangs. That would call for more powerful countries. But because the history of military interventions in Haiti, that history has been so tragic, with tragic consequences for the people of Haiti. It has never really worked out. And so there is almost a knee-jerk resistance in Haiti to any idea that anybody is coming in. And so a number of these powerful actors now, who may be the ones to lead that military process, have come to the recognition, look, in order to get some political cover for ourselves, we need CARICOM with us. So that is some pressure that is being placed on CARICOM. People are saying to CARICOM, we feel that we do need to go in to deal with this situation of the gangs, but we need you with us. We need you with us, CARICOM, because that will make because Haiti being a member state of CARICOM, that will make the whole exercise more legitimate. So CARICOM has some serious decisions to make, because obviously we cannot lead any military intervention. We don't have that kind of capacity. But could CARICOM be involved and exert influence? Maybe. And maybe CARICOM really needs to be there to be the representative of the Haitian people, because it's all right to talk about going in, but after you go in and stabilize the situation, then what? What is the medium-term plan? What is the long-term plan? Haiti needs massive economic assistance. You heard in the last part of the CARICOM statement, we spoke about Haiti's right to reparatory justice. We heard about that history of enslavement, colonization, and imperialism doing a serious injustice to Haiti and leading to the current poverty and underdevelopment. So CARICOM also has a role to play in bringing home to the international community that a lot is owed to Haiti, and any intervention to secure the security situation could only be the first step to a long-term program of humanitarian and economic assistance for Haiti.
How impactful do you think any intervention by the Caribbean community can be in a place like Haiti? I know you talked about going in and there being a bit of resistance to the military interventions because of what has happened in the past. But we've seen even across the region where there has been some intervention of sorts with other Caribbean countries where there's been some resistance to others from around the region coming in and even observing elections and things of that nature as late as or as early as the other day with the Guyana elections, where there was, you know, some measure of pushback from some political influences in that particular country. So to go back to my original question, how impactful do you think intervention from the Caribbean community could be in the medium to short term with all that's happening in Haiti?
Well, I think that of all the international actors, the people of Haiti have more trust for CARICOM than for anybody else. The truth is that organizations like the Organization of American States and powerful countries of this hemisphere like United States, Canada, European countries like France have had a very checkered history with Haiti, and that is why there's this almost knee-jerk suspicion in Haiti about any outside intervention, especially from these forces. However, CARICOM is not seen in the same light. I think the Haitian people generally trust CARICOM, believe that, you know, these are our Caribbean brothers and sisters. These folk have our best interests at heart. So because of that trust, CARICOM has a great responsibility, and we have to exercise that responsibility very carefully. We must make sure we don't let down the Haitian people. I think one of the reasons that there is the fear in Haiti about intervention is there's a fear, look, we don't want an intervention to come in just to prop up just to prop up an unpopular government. And I think if there can be some reassurance that that is not.
All right, I think that we have lost the ambassador there. We certainly will try to get him back on the call. We're going to take a break here and come back as we continue this discussion on Haiti. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Come on, you family, make some noise. Are you ready?
Q in the Community is on every Thursday in a community near you.
Q in the Community is well and alive.
Come on down and, have a line with all of me. The more mature folk come to dance, to sing.
Keep the bones smooth.
Q in the Community is your place to meet friends, to socialize, and just to be you.
Yes, come on down and take in the karaoke.
Whether you're coming from north, south, east, or west, we have a bus for you.
Q in the Community.
Stay tuned to Q100.7 FM to find out where we will be next, and follow us on Facebook.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in. Join us for it all.
Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning, morning, morning. Good morning, good morning to you.
Back to Morning Barbados. We're having conversations on CARICOM. Usually we would talk about CARICOM on Monday. Today, we are speaking with Ambassador Comachong about the crisis in Haiti. Let's welcome back Ambassador Comachong. We lost him a little bit earlier. And just to refresh you, what we were talking about is we were talking about the crisis in Haiti. We talked about the fact that CARICOM spoke at the UN Security Council meeting, and a statement was delivered on behalf of CARICOM by the permanent representative to the UN, the Belize's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Carlos Fuller, and Ambassador Comachong was filling us in on exactly what CARICOM was asking for through this statement. What are some of the options that are available is what we were discussing. Unfortunately, we have not been able to get Ambassador Comachong back on the call, and we most certainly will have to continue this discussion at another time. So we encourage you in the interim to get online and make sure you look at that statement. Of course, if you want to go back through after the show, want to go on YouTube, you can scroll back through what we presented on Morning Barbados, and that will give you an opportunity to watch the statement. But as we have in the past, it is very important for us to pay attention to what's happening down the region. And Haiti is no exemption, down or up, as the case may be. Haiti is most certainly no exemption from what we need to pay attention to. Still to come on Morning Barbados, we are talking to Stacia Brown of the Heart and Stroke Foundation. We have some staggering statistics to share with you out of our schools, talking about the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Campaign. And we're also looking at the Intangible Cultural Heritage Program of the National Cultural Foundation. We'll let you know how you can get involved. Stay with us. Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from Sand Dunes Bar and Restaurant, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be a part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you. Brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Wake up, morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in. Join us for it all.
Good morning, morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up, morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for our new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
When disaster threatens, it is comforting to know there's a team working to deliver credible, comprehensive, and up-to-date information. A team that is committed to serving you. A team that will be there before, during, and after the disaster. That is Team CBC, here for you this hurricane season.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, it's heading up to the 7 o'clock hour. That means we have to check in with Shane Seeley as we get ready for headline news. Hey, Shane, we're all great today.
Yes, we are. Indeed. Here's your headline news for this Tuesday morning, October 25th. Lawmen are at this hour searching for the gunmen responsible for yet another drive-by shooting that has left 3 men critically injured. According to police reports, District A personnel responded to a shooting which was reported via telephone to Police Operations Control Room at about 11 last night. The nature of the report was that 3 men, 2 of them 18 years old, the other 21, were shot and injured in the drive-by shooting at Pioneer Road, Bush Hall, St. Michael. Police say all 3 men were liming at a house in the area when a vehicle slowly drove by and turned around in a nearby gap. The shots were fired as it drove by the same house. Both the house and a car parked in front were damaged by gunfire during the incident. The injured men were transported for medical attention by a private vehicle. Their injuries are said to be critical, with 2 of them sustaining gunshot wounds to their abdomens and 1 of them to his back. Media workers in Barbados and the world are facing increased threats and attacks, and to this end, the first Vice President of the Association of Caribbean Media Workers, Emmanuel Joseph, is calling on journalists to open their mouths and speak out about these threats in order to try and save their lives. Mr. Joseph's encouragement comes on the heels of a senior television anchor from Pakistan being killed in suspicious circumstances, and also on the heels of a charge by the Public Media Alliance that there's a surge in online attacks on media professionals.
this is an emerging threat, that is digital threats against media. And so it is unfolding across the world. And I can tell you that it comes in covert and overt ways. So it is something that we have to keep our eyes on. It was unfortunate that the Pakistan journalist lost his life. And of course, this is just a drop in the bucket of various threats to the lives of journalists and media workers and actual death to them, assaults and things of that nature. So, Mark, yes, this is an unfortunate situation, and we all as media people have to be very vigilant and look out for these things. So we have to be on the ball and be aware that when you touch one, you touch all. So even though some of these things may happen outside of Barbados, it is as though it happens to us all because we are in the same profession. And as the old people will say, what doesn't happen in a day, happen in a year, or vice versa.
The leaked police report from a complainant who has accused the Member of Parliament Neil Rowe of rape was a major topic when Mr. Rowe appeared in court yesterday to face the charge. The complainant's statement has been circulating on social media, and while the Police Service's Public Affairs Communications Officer, Acting Inspector Rodney Innes, has declined comment at this stage, one attorney contends there ought to be an investigation. Sharika Griffith reports.
Shortly after 9:30, 43-year-old Rowe arrived in a police vehicle. He hid his face with a scarf as he was ushered into the courthouse by 3 police officers under the watchful eye of supporters and other onlookers. Mr. Rowe stood quietly in the dock as Magistrate Deirdre McKenna read the charge that on September 18th, he had sexual intercourse knowing that the complainant did not consent or was reckless as to whether she consented. He was not required to plead to the indictable offence. The MP is represented by King's Counsel Roger Ford and Attorney-at-Law Sophia Moore. Prosecutor Acting Inspector Peter Barrow did not object to bail, but asked for conditions to be imposed. The magistrate imposed 2 conditions: that Mr. Rowe stay away from the complainant and that he not message her via social media or otherwise. On the outside, his attorney, Mr. Ford, expressed concern the complainant's report to police was shared on social media. He also questioned the timing of the leak.
A report was made to the police on the 24th, I think, of September. And a few weeks or a few days prior to a particular event, which I do not want to name, there was much circulation. And the circulation of statements made by the complainant. Apparently they were copied from the police diary and placed on the internet. We all have seen them. What has happened, I'm very concerned that ladies now will have little or no confidence in the police force. That every report you make to the police, it will be on social media. Those who are responsible should be brought to justice.
Mr. Rowe is expected to return to court on January 30th. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
And finally, in breaking news from the UK, Rishi Sunak is officially Britain's 5th Prime Minister in 6 years after meeting with King Charles III at Buckingham Palace. Sunak is the first person of colour, the first British Asian, and the first Hindu to lead the United Kingdom. He enters 10 Downing Street at a moment of crisis, however, for his party and the country after Liz Truss's shambolic 50-day tenure plunged Britain into even deeper economic turmoil. Sunak has now left Buckingham Palace and will soon arrive at 10 Downing Street, where he will make his first public remarks as Prime Minister. And that's our headline news for this Tuesday morning. I'm Shane Seeley. It's back over to you, Tishia.
Well, thank you very much, Shane. Have a great day today. And like I said, we're matching.
Close. Close. Very, very
Were
close.
you peering into my closet?
Yes, when I woke up this morning.
Well, you know what they say, better gray than garnishment. Have a good day.
You as well, my dear. Have a good one.
All right, we're going to continue with your Morning Barbados as we get into what's happening at the National Cultural Foundation. We are talking about intangible cultural heritage and a program that the NCF has embarked on. It has already started. As we heard from Alicia Payne Hurley, it's everything from dance to theater and food and everything else in between. It truly is all-encompassing. So we're going to welcome Renee Taylor, who is the cultural officer at the NCF for Theater Arts. She is coming up after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.vb.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock on Morning Barbados on this Tuesday. We have to go right ahead and welcome Renee Taylor to Morning Barbados as we continue the discussion we have been telling you much about. I need to say bonjour. Good morning. How are you?
Bonjour. Good morning, Tisha. Thanks for having me.
Always good to see you. Good to see you again. It's been quite some time.
It has.
All right. You look as gorgeous as always.
And you every morning on my TV.
Thank you. So let's jump into exactly what we're talking about. This intangible cultural heritage. It has me so enthralled that I was talking about it all last evening, even with my daughter and the sister, talking about how we truly can become involved, because there's so many places where, or so many things where we are interested in them, we know about them, but as a generation, we've kind of dropped the ball on making that link with the communication and being able to carry on the heritage or move forward with the knowledge. So let's talk about these particular programs that are coming up.
Yes, you hit the nail exactly on the head. The intangible cultural heritage is really speaking about our cultural expressions, our traditions, and our heritage that we need to pass down from generation to generation. And right now there's so much conflict, it seems. It's like we have the boomers against the millennials against the Gen X, but we're all Barbadians and we all share the same heritage, and we all like to have conquest and independence. So this program has really been focusing on trying to get that intergenerational exchange, and we've rolled out the program for about a month now, and it's lovely to see. We have persons in the drama, we have persons as young as 4, full families, and then we have persons as old as 67 coming together and sharing stories from their communities and learning how to act on stage, and it's been beautiful so far.
Let's delve into theater arts a little bit more, because when we think about things like food and maybe stick licking, for example, it's kind of easier to make the link than, say, theater arts. So how are you linking that with this particular initiative?
The wonderful thing about Barbados, people always say Barbados is not a real place. Like, Barbados, we are just colorful characters. We have such colorful stories, and these stories need to be brought to the stage. So you might have a Brigadown Boar Hog, like from the famous Alfred Pragnell story in your community, that, these are characters that we need to see and hear about and pass on. Like, there's things where we don't know why we do something. We just know that we always grew up doing something. So these stories that are going to come out in the drama will teach you actually the history. Oh, that's where this came from, and that's why we do things this way, or maybe that's why we don't go to this particular part of the community, why everybody's afraid to go there.
Yeah,
So it's all about
especially
bringing those stories to life.
absolutely. When I think about that, stories that I learned with my stint in radio from way back when, stories like the Brathwaites of Black Rock, and then of course all the series with Alfred Pragnall and Daphne Joseph Hackett and all of those people, I certainly hope that we can bring some of those stories back to life and share them with a whole new generation.
Correct. And this new generation has their own stories to share as well. You know, these stories have not, they haven't gone anywhere. They've just evolved. And we need to hear about those as well.
Absolutely. What are some of the areas in particular that you specifically, in your capacity as cultural officer for theater arts, what are some of the specific areas that you would like to put out to the public?
I would like persons to just get their feet wet in drama and bring out their self-confidence. Spoken word as well is another sort of genre that is really popular, and I think people have a lot of ways to tell their stories. So it doesn't just have to be a narrative. It can also be through poetry. We actually were working with external coordinator Winston Farrell and Michelle Barrow, who are wonderful veterans in theater, veterans in this sort of community work. So we're really trying to, you know, bring that to the fore, the spoken word, poetry,
all those various forms of expression. So where can we find these particular elements of the program? Because I know you're moving around the island as well. And when are they popping up as a part of the schedule?
Okay, so currently for the drama, we have 9 venues, and we're all around the island from the north to the west to the south, central. So you can find us at the Daphne Joseph Hackett Theatre. You can also find us at Ellerton Community Center. We have several sessions ongoing at the Springer Memorial Secondary. We're as far south as St. Christopher Primary. And then we're also in St. Philip at the Princess Margaret Secondary and the Alexandra School in the north. If you log on to our website, ncf.bb, you can register online. You go to our ICH community training program, and you will see all the venues and the various times. Most of them are on evenings during the week or on Saturdays. And you can just sign up for whichever one is most convenient for you. You can also give me a call at the NCF. My number is 417-6626. Or you can email me, Renee, RENEE -Taylor, TAYLOR, at ncf.bb.
Like you said earlier, Renee, a lot of the times we are separated by generations, but most certainly bound by our cultural uniqueness or authentically Barbadian things. So let's talk a little bit about where we are kind of divided along the lines of generations. You talked about different generations telling their stories, but is there kind of like a cutoff point? For me, let me step back to come forward. It's sort of like when you have old singers who you want to hear perform all of their older music, but they're making new music too. But, you know, they're really well known for the older repertoire. So are we kind of cutting off where we are sharing in terms of Barbadian heritage, or is there some type of continuum where we are constantly developing stories so that we can share even now with those going forward? Or, you know, is there kind of like a time limit on what we're sharing through this program?
There is no time limit. That's why we didn't want to have any boundaries in terms of you don't have to have any level of experience to be a part of this program, and any age can be a part of this program. Because at the end of the day, there can't be a time limit. All of these stories are valid. There's stories from our past that you can't know where you're going until you know where you're coming from. So everything that has happened in our past is integral. We need to know it in order to help us navigate our future. And I think the trick is to find a way to merge the two And the way to do that is to at least get people talking. So through this program, you know, we have the younger people talking with the middle-aged people, talking with the elderly. And once we get those channels open, then we can find a way to merge the two, merge the old with the new. There has to be a continuum. That's how societies and cultures evolve.
To what extent are you merging different forms of cultural expression? Because when I think about some of the music performed by, say, for example, Gabby and Red Plastic Bag and those guys through the years, there's no better way of showcasing Barbadian theater than with, you know, some of the songs that were done back in the day. So to what extent are you kind of merging these different forms of expression to really present a Barbadian story?
Well, it comes through mentorship. You know, we have the veterans passing on their knowledge and their experience to younger people. So for example, our external coordinators, they're working with a cadre of very enthusiastic, young, trained theater artists who are then passing on their knowledge to, as I said, these little 4-year-olds, these middle-aged persons, these even retirees who are coming to try something for the first time, or, you know, knock something off of their list that they've always wanted to try. So again, it's all about just sharing experience and knowledge and bringing those stories to the fore. So the elders will tell the stories of the community as they were growing up, and hopefully the younger ones will put their little twist to it. We can modernize it and bring it to a theater space for everyone to view, because at the end of the day, we're going to have some community showcases as well, where the communities can come together and see all the talent that we know is there, that we're just trying to unearth and bring to the fore.
I love that. I love that there will be showcases at the end. And on a personal note, is there anything that you particularly would like to learn on a personal level?
I am interested in the Afro beats, but I have 2 left feet. But Alicia is working with me, and I'm going to get there.
I'm sure you will. Afro beats. I don't know. Dancing is not for me either. Dancing is not for me either. You were in my square dancing class, right? At school?
If I was, it was probably probably not. Let's not share that.
All right. Well, you have a great day today. Wonderful to see you, like I said. And let's remind everybody how they can get involved and where they need to go to be able to sign up to be a part of this teaching of the intangible cultural heritage of Barbados, so to speak.
Right. Thank you. So again, you can log on to our website, ncf.bb, and you click on the Intangible Cultural Heritage, ICH Community Training Program. And there you will see all of the sessions we have across the various disciplines. There's several genres of dance you can become a part of. There's the drama, spoken word you can also become a part of. You just look for the session that is most convenient for you. We have centers all across the island, from the north to the west to the south and central. Just sign up for the time and day that is most convenient for you. You can also give me a call at 417-6626, or you can drop me an email at Renee, RENEE -Taylor, TAYLOR, at ncf.bb.
Thank you so much. Renee Taylor is Cultural Officer for Theatre Arts at the National Cultural Foundation, and we certainly hope that we have whet your appetite, or at least created some interest in you, so that you go online and check out all of these programs and figure out where you can fit in and exactly what you want to do. I most certainly want to learn to make maybe some. My mother was making sugar cakes last night, but I can't make I can't make sugar cakes. They all fall apart.
If
So
at
maybe
first you don't succeed, try again.
So
It's
maybe
okay.
maybe I could go and learn to make some sugar cakes or some Bajan sweet treats. I love nut cakes too. Ask me how to make them. Cannot. So
I think
you
we
know.
have some training videos on our website as well that would teach you how to make all of that. So yeah, log on.
I'm not one of
Again,
those people who can.
ncf.bb.
I'm not one of those people who can log on to YouTube and learn to do something.
You need a
No.
physical class. Okay, so at our next
Yes.
physical class, I'll make sure I reach out and bring you.
All right, good stuff. Great to see you, Renee.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, so don't be laughing at me, all right? Because I know there are people just like me out there. You know, try your hand at something and it all falls apart, literally. You know, my sugar cakes taste good. They just don't hold together like, you know, like they do. You know, what about fish cakes? You know, can you make fish cakes? Good old Bajan fish cakes. Can you make bakes the Bajan way? All of these things, you know, are interesting things for us to be able to carry forward. Okay, coming up next, we are talking about some staggering statistics that we're seeing coming out of our schools and coming through the Barbados Heart and Stroke Foundation about overweight and obese children in our schools. Up next, we'll tell you about a campaign to combat that.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. This morning we're telling you about a campaign called Out of Our Schools, and it's a campaign being put on by the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, and they've released some really staggering statistics. 31.9% of Barbadian students aged 13 to 15 years are overweight or obese, the two O words that nobody likes to hear. 83% of all deaths in Barbados are caused by non-communicable diseases or NCDs. And we're still taking these things lightly, so it's time that we really jump on board and look at how we can support each other and most certainly make good choices, make better choices, a lot of the times a lot more. Let's welcome Stacia Brown, who's Communications Officer with the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados, to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Tisha. Good to see you and good to
All
be here.
familiar faces today.
Definitely.
Wonderful to see you.
Yes. And so the Heart and Stroke Foundation, the Childhood Obesity Prevention Program, launched its 7th campaign. This one is entitled Out of Our Schools. So this is aimed at getting unhealthy food, unhealthy beverages out of our schools. We all know that our schools are littered with so many snacks that are high in fats, high in sugars, high in sodium, which we say salt, and those are causing a higher incidence of childhood obesity, hypertension among children, diabetes, type 2 diabetes. All of these are very staggering things to be happening in a generation coming up almost addicted to sugar. And right now, we know we want our schools to be healthier environments. We want them to be exercising, but we also want them to be eating healthy food. We want our school meals, just as we had the Ministry of Education doing during the summer, providing healthier meals for our children. We also don't want our school environments to be littered with unhealthy foods and the marketing of unhealthy foods and unhealthy beverages. So right now our campaign Out of Our School aims to remove that, and we really need it to come through policy. So we need public support and policymakers, that is government, to implement the school nutrition policy, which removes the unhealthy food and beverages in the schools.
Oh, there's so much to unpack with this discussion, Stacey. There's so much to unpack because I noted with a little bit of disdain as well that 95% of Barbadians, according to this data that you shared, 95% of Barbadians believe it's very important or somewhat important that the government play an important role in reducing obesity. And even though that's true in the area of policy, like you said, I think the onus really is on us to share information and to make better choices. And in the area of public education as well. So when you take the choice out of the hands of people, you have to make sure that you give them options as well. So in terms of this campaign, I know that there's some advocacy going on, and of course you're sharing this empirical data. But in terms of public education, what are we doing to make sure that we are giving people options that they can use? So you say to somebody, don't have the sugar, don't have the, for calling a term, I mean, we know, don't have the corn curls, don't have the sweet drinks, don't have the lollipops, which is what we came up as children eating sometimes too. Maybe not as often as these ones do now, but you know, you have to give them options that they can go to as well. Because sometimes even driving around as a busy mom, and I say, oh, it's been a long day, I don't know if I want to head home and cook today because I'm tired, then the only thing available is that fast food option, you know, so where you feel like you don't have choices, then we're going to revert to this position where we always make the bad choices. So what are we doing in terms of public education?
Well, one of the main things we're doing in terms of our advocacy is we do have a model schools program where we have 6 schools which have actually implemented the option of not selling unhealthy food in schools, unhealthy beverages, I should say, in schools. So that has given them the option of looking at alternatives. So the alternatives being water, which is like the best option you could ever have. And it actually satisfies our thirst more than anything, and more than any sugary drink. And we have infused water, taking seasonal fruit, and vegetables to give flavor to the water, which is another refreshing option for children and or adults. We also have looking at creating beverages with way less sugar than the more manufactured beverages. So rather than creating or drinking a drink which might have 50 grams of sugar, we're working with vendors to show them how they can create drinks that have way less sugar, and sugar that is within the healthier amount that would be good for our children. So we've been working with the vendors, we've been working with the PTAs, we've been working with teachers and staff in schools, we've been working with the children. We have a youth advocacy program where a number of youth advocates work with children within the schools, explaining to them what are their options instead of drinking the over processed foods, the foods that are high in fat, high in salt, and high in sugar. So that's what our advocacy has always been about. And our campaigns have also run with advocacy as part of them, because we know public education, as you rightfully said, Tisha, is always a part of it. But policy is really required because our children are still very young. They're still learning their bodies. They're still learning what's good for them and what's not. And if you put a lot of marketing in schools, it's hard for kids to make the right choice when they're, hit with so much marketing and pretty paper and things that might not be good for them but look good. So it's all walking hand in hand and working hand in hand. The advocacy is necessary and the campaigns are necessary, because when we have statistics where it's 31% of our children between 13 and 15 are overweight or obese, that is alarming. That is something that our country cannot have, and we don't want a generation to come up addicted to the unhealthy foods and the high in fat, high in sugar, high in salt type of thing. So we really need policy to work hand in hand in bringing a generation away from the addiction of sugar and fats and salts.
All right, who are we targeting with this particular campaign? Because
So
as
this
you would know,
campaign,
it has to go hand in glove. Of course, you said from the macro level, governmental level, people who affect policy, but we also have to look at the home and how that plays into the choices our children make as well.
Yes, because our parents are so pivotal. They are the ones that lay the landscape and the foundation for our children to grow. And we've really been working with our PTAs and with our parents in different schools. We go out, we do outreaches in our schools, Alexandra Foundation. You would have seen where we've done and donated exercise equipment, because that also is part of it as well. And it's really important right now where we're targeting. This campaign actually targets parents, children, and policymakers about getting unhealthy foods out of our schools. And the campaign video tells a very telling tale of a school-aged Barbadian girl who's concerned about the prevalence of childhood obesity in Barbados. She highlights the problem of unhealthy foods and beverages and the risk of NCDs to her peers, and she challenges policymakers, parents, guardians, and the entire Barbados society, because we have a national problem, to collectively address the problem by supporting and implementing strong, healthy school nutrition policy, because this is a situation where we have to work hand in hand together, where the policymakers have responsibility, parents have responsibility, the schools have responsibility, because we need to have a healthier generation coming up, where they're doing exercise, where they're eating healthier, they're looking for healthy options, they're involved in making healthy food with their parents, which is another thing, and thinking about what they want to choose, what they want to experiment with local food is a really good way of building relationships with your parents and seeing what you can explore together in food in a healthy way. So these are all things that we are looking at to divert this generation away from having such staggering statistics of 31% of our kids being overweight and obese.
It's a great way to link what we were talking about last segment, the intangible cultural heritage, and a great opportunity for us to teach another generation about how our ancestors cooked, you know, how older Barbadians prepared their food, what they ate, and it most certainly did not contain all the sugar that we have involved now, all the processed foods that are really making the children fat.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to say fat anymore.
It's a difficult challenge for a nation to look at. It's something that, you know, we are not necessarily the biggest in research, but research speaks volumes. This is an evidence-based campaign. That is why we know what the statistics are telling us. We know what our partners, because we do have partners for this campaign, including of the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, PAHO, UNICEF, and they tell us what the statistics are saying about a generation that's coming up in a very unhealthy environment, and they're having to navigate making such major choices that affect their body, and that's something we need to guard them against and protect them. We do have a number of hashtags which we have associated with the campaign, and those include protect our children out of our schools, and there are a whole host of them. You can follow them on our social media. That is HSF Barbados on Instagram and Heart and Stroke Barbados on Facebook. And we will also have videos within print, and our TV partner, CBC TV8. It will be part of our campaign as well. So we're really glad once again to partner more with the media and to make sure that Barbadians are more and more aware of what is happening to a generation who we need to protect.
I most certainly look forward to further discussion on this topic and other related topics because there are so many that are interrelated and interconnected. But I want to thank you for coming through and sharing with us. And we most certainly will keep on our toes and look out for all those campaign messages and, of course, advocate when and how we can. Thank you so much, Stacia.
Thank you so much, Tisha. It was good to see you once again.
As always, a special good morning to everybody over at the Heart and Stroke Foundation of Barbados. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we are talking inheritances. That's siblings sharing the wealth. Sharita Odell is next. Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from Sand Dunes Bar and Restaurant, Belle Plaine St Andrew. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be a part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you. Brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Because you love English Premier League, MCTV has got it back. Now you can watch all the games of the English Premier League plus UEFA and NFL on MCTV. Current customers can upgrade to Max Pack Extra at just $23. Call MCTV today at 228-6288 to upgrade or come in and sign up for our new service. Football fans, let MCTV get you back in the game.
When disaster threatens, it is comforting to know there's a team working to deliver credible, comprehensive, and up-to-date information. A team that is committed to serving you. A team that will be there before, during, and after the disaster. That is Team CBC, here for you this hurricane season.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented.
All right, we're talking real estate, so let's go ahead without further ado and welcome Sharita Odell. Good morning to you.
Good morning, morning. Good to see you.
All right, great to see you as always. Also, now, unless it expressly states so, when siblings inherit a house or some other property, it means that it is equally shared. Yes, and I know you have some tips this morning for us about maybe siblings who get that inheritance and what they should do. So let's jump right in.
Yes. Well, firstly, as usual, I always start off by telling parents, please, while you're alive and functional, try to make a plan for your property. Don't assume that. Don't have this great mandate that after death, this property is going to bring them together. Don't do it. Okay? Try to sort out property matters before you pass. So I'll start with that. However, in the instance that you're not able to, siblings don't necessarily always get along. And for that reason, you must start off with an agreement, some sort of an agreement determining how are we going to proceed with this property. And you have three options, mainly three options: either to sell it, to rent it together, or one person who might want to stay in it might want to buy it out. So those are the three options that I will present to you to discuss at the next family gathering.
All right, definitely some interesting ones. So let's talk about one person who wants to stay and maybe buy out the other person's share in the property. Let's start with that one.
So in an instance like that, let's say Susie Sue has been living there most of the time. She took care of the parents or the last parent before she passed, and rightfully she deserves to be there, but you still want due process. So I recommend that you have a formal valuation done so that no one can say that Susie, paid $300,000 and the house was really worth $800,000. But you get your valuation done so you know the true value of the house. And then the other siblings, or if it's just one other sister or whatever, can decide how they're going to do this. Are we going to offer it to you at a discounted rate, at market rate, whatever you determine? Then you can say, let's make the terms of repayment X, Y, Z. And usually, obviously, they're relaxed, So you put that in place from the beginning so that there seems to be some structure. Even if you decide, all right, you buy it out for just $1,000, what is the structure of that? You have to lay it out in an agreement so there's no further rioting between you.
Yeah, we know what word of mouth does, especially when we're talking about property. So let's delve into that a little deeper as we reinforce how important it is, even with family, especially with family, to get things in writing, to formalize these types of matters.
Yes. Now, you have to remember that because it's family, Johnny John, he is sentimental, okay? He was the last boy. He loved his mommy the best, and as far as he is concerned, mommy loved that house. He's not about parting with it. So regardless of what you agree on, you then have to put it down on paper, because when Johnny John decides in a moment of absence after swigging that whiskey, okay, go ahead, sell it. When he comes back to his senses 6 years later, want to take this house for underway, have it in writing so everything is documented so that you can say on paper, this is what we all agreed to. So especially because your family, put it down on paper. And I always recommend get a professional involved, perhaps an attorney who is not family. Keep somebody separate and distinct from you.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous to find out who is going to crop up and your thoughts next, because we heard Susie Sue and then Johnny George. But moving to the next thing, if you determine as siblings, okay, we are going to jointly sell this property, then, there may be some things that you need to formalize. First of all, there's so many parents, because we're talking about maybe an ideal situation where parents have indeed done that paperwork and they've left a will or something like that. But a lot of the times, people don't leave a will. So, what are siblings doing in that instance? A lot of the times, the property is still in the parents' name, so they have to go through an entire process before they can even think about selling.
Thanks for the reminder, Tisha. I deal with this on a daily basis. And what is sad too is that one person always gets kicked under the bus, right? So, you know what, Michelle Michaels, because you are a doctor and pulling in that money, you know what, my food stamps ain't coming yet. So if you can handle the attorney fees, the payment for the valuation, and cleaning out the house, that would be great. And that happens. One sibling gets stuck doing everything. And that is why it's important, if you have an executor of the will, for example, to have them kind of help in the guidance process of who is going to take on what role. Okay, so we will know that one person is going to deal with the attorney, This person is going to deal with the realtor. This other person is going to deal with collecting rent if they go that route. But you do need intermediary help. Otherwise, it goes downhill very, very fast. And whatever started off as a rift among siblings widens real quick. Because to what I have found in my practice, sometimes parents, y'all don't do the best job of managing your estate when you're alive. So not only is it now a matter of dealing with this property after, but dealing with debt, a lot of debt, and you didn't fix up the house properly in your lifetime. So now maintenance and expenses are costing the very children that you brought onto the earth. Yeah, you are now killing them with what you have left behind. So this is the reality of what exists now.
Yeah, there are also instances where, like you mentioned, there might be a sibling who still lives at home and who would have contributed maybe to the upkeep of the house or built onto the property, you know, done a few repairs, put on an extra room, gone upstairs or something, and then all of a sudden another sibling or siblings come into the picture and they feel like, well, this can't be a down the middle kind of thing, because I need my money that I put into this property back out. How am I going to squeeze it out? So in instances like that, you know, that reinforces why you truly need to make sure that you formalize whatever you do.
So Tisha, I must admit, I just lost all volume, so I did not hear you properly.
I saw you playing with the TV screen.
So repeat that last phrase one last time for me. It's back now.
Yeah, I was mentioning about siblings who, you know, they might have built onto the property, done an upgrade or what have you, and then another sibling comes in, and the one who's there is thinking, how do you think we share this down the middle after I've put thousands of dollars into this property? And things like that really reinforce why you need to formalize whatever you do, even if it is building on a room onto your parents' property.
That is indeed correct. You have to make decisions beforehand, and I would say this, some siblings are not going to like me after this, but before you go and spend out the money, have a discussion with the siblings beforehand as to how we are going to recoup. What I recommend in the instance where you choose to, let's say, keep the property and rent it out to a third party, you can either, you know, designate one of the siblings, so to speak, as a property manager, but formalize it. Pay her or him $100 or 10% of the rent each month because they are working on your behalf. If you don't prefer her to do it, you're going to have a property manager who's going to charge the same thing. Now, the beauty of the property manager is that they act as a buffer among the siblings. They handle the maintenance, the expenses, and you can sit back as siblings kind of knowing that the house is running, and you just have to shell out, you know, whatever is dictated by the property manager, and the expenses all accounted for in an expense report. So, you know, the reality is, as I said, siblings do not usually all agree. So this is where you have to put aside all the beef and have those cordial conversations beforehand for the greater good. Your parents don't want to look down here and see you all acting a fool. Do it for them.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. So we talked about two options. We talked about the options where you sell out, one person wants to kind of relinquish what they have to the other person. We talked about them jointly selling the property. And then the third option, let's jump into that.
Right, so as I mentioned before, rental. So you have either buy it out, one sibling take over everything and they continue to live there happily ever after. You have a case of selling it. When you sell it, make sure once again that you get that formalized valuation so that no one can say you undercut and this, that, and the other. And after, you know, Nana worked so hard to paint in the veranda every day, you give away the woman house, get that valuation. And the third is rental. Rental keeps that house alive and going, but there will be costs associated with it. So establish beforehand how these costs are going to be shared. What did I say? Shared, not put on one person while you look out, look on from afar, because as far as you're concerned, I ain't got no money. The cost and management of the house has to be shared. So even if you might not be able to contribute financially, if it's being rented out and needs maintenance and expenses and so forth covered, are you going to help collect the rent? Are you going to help call the plumber? What are you going to do to contribute? So I think that is the primary concern with all the various steps, contribution levels from each sibling. Put in your sweat equity, play your part, make your mother proud from the heavens, make your father look down and say, that's my boy. But do something that is for the greater good for all involved.
All right, so organize a payout, organize a buyout, rent and split the profits, or sell and split the profits. So those are the three main options that we are giving you. A word to the wise is enough. I am so tired of hearing these squabbles with families about property, and it's really hard to hear some of them sometimes.
It's awful. It's a large part of what I deal with, and it's painful because you can see some are hurting because they've lost their parents, and it can extend for a long time. The reality is a lot of the empty properties that you see around the island, why do you think they're there? Siblings give up.
Yeah, and that's another thing. As we move around the island, there's so many derelict properties. It's as if an entire generation of people worked hard to build their homes, and then they've gone on and nobody's taking care of them. Bush going through property. It's just, it seems like an exorbitant amount of houses around the island are now just derelict buildings.
Yes, and that's why I will say again, I will beg parents, put down some sort of will. I recommend go to an attorney, get help writing it all down. Even if you don't do it the old-fashioned way, even if you put it on some little sort of paper and sign it and put it away, just try to do something so that it is made clear beforehand who you want to keep what. If I had my preference, I am not about taking a property and giving it to 4 or 5 children. I actually think that's a disservice to those children. So please, if you have done that, you can change it now. It is a disservice. In your lifetime, if anything, put the instructions down. Billy, Bob, John, Sue, Jeff, you're going to sell this when I pass, and share the money among yourselves. So even if you leave it to those siblings, put some instructions so that you don't then leave them battling, trying to figure out what to do. Parents, please.
Yeah, that definitely is some good advice to take us into Tuesday and through the rest of the week. I want to thank you, as always, for sharing with us. Always very insightful.
You're welcome.
All right, so a little bit of advice for you from the real estate corner. It's heading up to the 8 o'clock hour. When we come back, a little bit of fun, and then we wrap Morning Barbados for today.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Join us this Friday as Morning Barbados will be broadcasting live from Sand Dunes Bar and Restaurant Belle Plainte in Andrew. Tune in to CBC TV 8 from 6:30 to 8 a.m. to be a part of the fun as we continue to take Morning Barbados on the road. Coming to a parish near you. Brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and probiotics.
Wake up, morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
Come on, you family, make some noise. Are you ready?
Q in the Community is on every Thursday in a community near you.
Q in the community is well and alive.
Come on down and, have a line with all of me. The more mature folk come to dance, to sing.
Keep the bones smooth.
Q in the Community is your place to meet friends, to socialize, and just to be you.
Yes, come on down and take in the karaoke.
Whether you're coming from north, south, east, or west, we have a bus for you.
Q in the Community.
Stay tuned to Q100.7 FM to find out where we will be next, and follow us on Facebook.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.
Morning Barbados will be coming to your parish live every Friday until November. Stay tuned from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. to see which parish we're in.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so we're celebrating teachers as we continue. We're also looking toward Global Business Week and that BIBA conference, which will be online and at the Barbados Hilton, as well as looking toward the start of the Barbados Food and Rum Festival. So there certainly is a lot happening in Barbados now and a lot for us to look forward to throughout the week and into the weekend. So make sure you stay tuned so you know exactly what's happening. Believe it or not, we're already at the end. Time just goes so quickly when you're having fun. But coming up tomorrow, the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados, they are back, and we're talking about HR's role in business continuity planning. Very, very important. That's coming up. Plus, Dr. Rouse will be in discussing premenopause and postmenopause rather, and you definitely want to delve into that. And the Barbados Entrepreneurship Foundation will be talking about their $20 challenge. We're going to tell you about that and a whole lot more on tomorrow's edition of Morning Barbados. So have a great day today. Be sure to join us tomorrow, but don't forget to wear your smiles. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.